Thank you all for being here tonight. This is Rise, as you guys know, because you're here. And our mission at Rise is to lead people in a growing relationship with Jesus Christ. We think a relationship with Jesus Christ, deciding to enter into a relationship with Jesus, is the most important decision a person will ever make in their life. And our goal is to create an environment where people can ask questions and be curious and hopefully decide to enter into that relationship. So that's why we're here tonight. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And I'm just going to pray and then go right into the message. So if you can close your eyes and bow your heads. Dear Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for everyone that decided to be here tonight. Lord, I know they're here for a reason, and I pray that you just reveal yourself to them tonight and to me. Bless this night. In your name, Lord Jesus, amen. So, I got some news last night. A friend came to my apartment, and he said, "Hey Ryan, I'm dropping out of school. I'm going back home." And that was really sad for me. This guy and I, we had a lot of close talks, deep talks. It was sad. I played baseball with him, and it just kind of blindsided me. And I was like, "Hey, why did you make this decision? How did you come to this conclusion?" And he said, "Well, it was really hard, but I just spent a day. I spent a day and was brutally honest with myself about where I was at in life. And I came to the conclusion that I'm not happy with where I'm at, and I need to make a change." And honestly, his honesty, his decision to be brutally honest with himself that's a hard thing to do. And that's something tonight, like, I want you to examine your life, and I need to examine mine as well as we think through these things together. And we need to decide, hey, am I where I want to be? If you're being honest with yourself tonight, you're going to come to a conclusion, hopefully, to take some steps in a direction that leads you towards God. So tonight we're talking about control and trust. And in my life, when I think about control, the first thing I thought about was my older brother Nate. He's 23. And when he gets in the car with me, I want to control the aux cord. Like, that's the first one. Control, I think, aux cord with my brother Nate. Why? Because he likes metalcore music, I think it's what it's called. Metalcore. It's like death metal, like screamo. That's what he plays in my car. And I can't stand that music. So I don't want to give up control to him because I know he's going to do something I don't want him to do. I'm like, dude, I'm controlling the aux because I know what music I like. I know what music's going to make me happy. And your music's not that. So I need to control this area of my life. I need to control the aux cord so I can be happy. And if I'm honest with myself, I think about it, there's a lot of other areas of my life where control like that applies. For example, if I'm in a group project, I hate it because I can't control every aspect of the assignment that I'm going to turn into the teacher that's going to count towards my grade. Like, I don't have complete control over what my group members are doing. So I have to have faith and trust in them and what they're doing, and I just can't do that because I need to control my grades because that's important in my life. And my question for you tonight is what areas of your life are you trying to control to the max? Because I think if we look at those areas, those are areas where we're trying to get our happiness from. We try to control the things where we draw our happiness and our joy from. So maybe it's a relationship for you. Maybe you're trying to micromanage a relationship you have with another person because that's where you get your joy. That's where you get your happiness. Maybe it's your grades. Maybe it's your athletic life. Maybe it's your job, your income. And I was talking to my dad, and I always like to talk to my dad because he gives me some pretty good perspective on life because, I mean, he's 50 now. He's pretty old. Don't tell him I told you that. But he's getting old, and he's like, "Ryan, when I think about control, when I was younger, I used to think I could control my whole life in every area of my life. And the older I've gotten, the more I realize that control is an illusion. And Chloe, you can go to the next slide. We crave control in our lives. We do. But he said control. You can't control everything in your life. Maybe you've had a loved one, or maybe you have had health problems. If you've ever come across that in your life, you realize that you don't have control. Maybe, I think about somebody on their deathbed, like somebody that comes close to dying. It's like, how much control do you have over that? Not a lot. You can't control what other people do. You can't control what other people say. And there's a lot of areas in our life where we can't control, yet we crave it. And then I was thinking about control, and this break I was home, this Christmas break I was home with my family, right? And I was walking down the hall, and I wasn't wearing a shirt. And last semester, I decided I wasn't going to play baseball, and I took a semester off from working out. It was great. Like, I thought, hey, I've earned this break from working out, right? And I was walking down the hallway home, and my mom looks at me, and she does like a double take. I was like, what, Mom? And then my dad comes out, and he's like, Ryan, are you going to go to the gym soon? And I was like, come on, Dad, like, give me a break. Are you working out? And he's like, yeah, I do 100 push-ups every morning. And I was like, oh, shoot, my dad's in better shape than I am. So this semester, I've decided to, like, go to the gym consistently. I thought, like, hey, I'm going to control this area of my life. I need to do better, and that's okay, because it's for my health. I need to be healthy. Yet there's this thing about my health that, like, I can work out consistently, but I can't follow through with my diet. Like, as hard as I try, like, Reese's eggs, I can't stay away from those. You know what I mean? Like, as hard as I try, I can't have a great diet. And as much as I want to control that area of my life, there's going to be times where I can't follow through with what I'm trying to control. There's going to be times in your life where you can't follow through with where you're trying to control. And I think, that's something. Well, you can go to the next slide. We crave control, yet we can't always follow through. It's this weird thing that, like, we want control so bad, yet sometimes we don't follow through on the control we want. And I think about my own life, and I think, well, there's my diet. Like, I can't follow through with that. For Christmas, I wanted Rosetta Stone so I could learn Spanish. I haven't looked at that in 2 weeks. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be fluent in Spanish by now. I haven't looked at Rosetta Stone in 2 weeks. Like, that was a promise I made to myself, yet I haven't followed through with that promise. I make promises to other people, like, hey, let's meet for coffee, and then, like, it never happens. See, I think if you were honest with yourself tonight, you'd look at your own life and say, yeah, there's certain areas of my life where, I've tried to control it a lot, but I just haven't followed through with my promises. I haven't followed through with doing what I thought I was going to do. I was going to make this change, and now I haven't followed through with that change. Whatever it is. And tonight I want to get into the character of God a little bit. So stick with me here. Our character is that we will always come up short in some way when we try to control our lives. Like I've been saying over and over, we're not always going to follow through. You know that's true. I know that's true. But God is completely different. God is said in the Bible to be holy. And holy means set apart. Holy means different. God's character is different than our character. In that when God said he's going to do something, God has to do that thing. God will never not do what he says he's going to do. God is always going to follow through on his promises. Because that's who he is. You can go to the next slide. I put up some verses. 2 Timothy 2:13. If we are faithless, which, let's be honest, a lot of us are faithless when it comes to certain areas of our life. He, God, remains faithful, for he cannot disown himself. God himself is faithful, and he has to be faithful because that's who he is. Next verse says, trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord himself is the rock eternal. When I was thinking about, like, what does rock eternal mean? Like, that must be a big rock, like a strong rock, a firm rock that's not going to move, it's not going to change, it's constant, it's steady. And that made me think of, in the New Testament, Jesus tells this parable of the wise builder and the foolish builder. And the foolish builder is like, hey, I'm going to control every area of my life. I'm going to build my life based off of my control and what I want to do. And when the storms of life hit, his house crumbles. Because it's built on the sand, it's built on his control. The wise builder builds his house on the rock eternal. And when the storms of life come, he's not in control, but since he gave control to the rock eternal, his house stands the test of the storm. It stands firm. And I was thinking just about this idea of giving up control, and that means we have to trust. Giving up control means surrender. And when I think about surrender, I think, like, unconditional surrender means, like, to give away everything. And a lot of us, that's tough to do. That's tough to do for me. It's tough to surrender to God. And I was thinking about my little brother, Zachy. He's 9 years old. And I love hanging out with him because he's always so happy. But he loves Legos. And he built this Lego set, and he came over to me, and he's like, Ryan, check out my Lego set. And I was like, oh, Zach, like, this is sweet. You built this all by yourself? He's like, yeah. I said, can I hold it? And he looked at me, and he was like, no, you can't hold it. And I was like, Zach, I'm 21, you're 9. I can definitely, like, I'm capable of holding your Legos without, destroying them. Like, 9-year-olds spill milk like it's their job, and still he's not trusting me with his Legos for some reason. And it's not that he didn't think I was capable of holding his Legos. It's he didn't trust my heart. He thought, if I give Ryan my Legos, he'll probably, like, as a joke, act like he's going to break them, or, like, hide them from me, or take a piece off just to make me mad. Like, he didn't trust my intent of holding his Legos. I think if we believe in God in this place, if you believe in God, maybe you're scared to give him control of your life because you doubt his intentions. You think, what has God done for me lately? Like, I can't give God these Legos because I don't know what he's going to do with my Lego set. I can't give God my life because I don't know what he's going to do with it. I need to control this because I know what I can do with my life, but I don't know what God's going to do. And will God follow through on his promises? Will God do what he says he's going to do? Like, God's capable, but, like, does he care about the things I care about as much as I care about them? Zach built those Legos. He spent time with those Legos. He loved his little Lego set. And he's like, I don't think Brian's going to love my Legos as much as I do and take as good of care of my Legos as I will. And we think that's God sometimes. Like, is God going to care about my relationships as much as I care about my relationship? Is he going to care about my grades as much as I do? Is he going to care about my future as much as I do? And for some of us, you can go to the next slide. For some of us, trusting God, this is a pretty basic analogy. Like, giving up control to God and trusting God's like sitting in this chair, right? Like, if I'm going to completely surrender to this chair, I'm going to put all my weight on it, I'm going to sit on it, I'm going to trust it. But a lot of us are like, yeah, I trust God, but like, just kind of get to sit on it, right? Like, I'm not going to give him full control. I'm not going to trust him fully because there's certain things that I still want to control. There's certain things I don't trust God with. If you were honest with yourself tonight, what are those areas in your life? Because trusting God looks like putting all your weight on the chair and just giving him everything, surrendering everything. Not just half, not just a little bit, but it all. Do you trust God that much? And maybe, and I think this is the case, it's been the case with me in my life, that sometimes I don't want to give up control to God, and I don't want to surrender to God, and I don't want to trust God because I don't want to look different than everyone else. I want to fit in. Like, if I surrender to God and give him control, like, how is that going to make me look? How are people going to think about me? And for some of us, maybe it's like, Ryan, you want me to give up control and trust to God, but God hasn't done anything for me. Lately or ever. God just hasn't showed up in my life like I expect him to. And I know that's hard. Like, you're asking, where's God at in all this? And my response to that would be, God has already demonstrated his promises to us through Jesus and who Jesus is and what Jesus has done. See, God became a man and walked on this earth and died for us. Died a death that was horrific for you individually. And that is how he demonstrates his faithfulness and his love and who he is. And the thing is, like, that's great to say, right? God died for me. Jesus died on the cross for me, but like, I'm still going to do my own thing. I'm still going to do what I want. And that's okay. Because, see, God knew you were going to say that. God knew you were going to say, I'm going to do my own thing. And he still looks at you and says, that's all right, I'll die for you. I'll die for you again and again and again if I have to. He would if he could. Even if you were going to deny him over and over and over again. He would still die for you. He looked at the people that were literally crucifying him and said, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. And that's the heart of God. That's the faithfulness of God demonstrated. And it's already been demonstrated. It's been demonstrated in my life, and it will be demonstrated throughout my life. But ultimately, it was demonstrated through Jesus. And if he's faithful, and if he's going to do what he says he's going to do, he promises to give you a hope and a future. Literally. He says, before you were born, I knit you together in the womb. He has all these crazy promises for our life. That if we would just take that step and really trust him with everything we are, and come into relationship with him, and believe he's going to do what he says he's going to do, then we'll have so much joy and so much peace in our life. And I'm going to close, but really, I want you to be honest with yourself. Like I said about my friend, he was brutally honest with himself about where he was at. And he realized, man, I'm not where I want to be. And maybe you're sitting here tonight being like, saying, if I'm really honest, I'm not where I want to be. And the great thing about that is you can always make a change. And so, if you want to make a change tonight, I'm going to pray, and then afterward, you can see me or you can see any of the leaders. If you're a leader here, raise your hand. There's Felicia and Chloe and Layton and Jimmy back there. So, Talk to somebody. Please. Because this isn't a little thing. This, like I said at the start, a relationship with Jesus, we believe, is the most important decision you will ever make in your life. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to pray. Dear Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak your character. And I pray that everyone in this place would know you. They know who you are, know how powerful you are, know how loving you are, and how great you are. I pray if there's someone in this place that is examining their heart and their life and comes to the conclusion that they're not where they want to be, I pray that you give them the courage to act on that. Please. And thank you for each and every person in here. Bless the rest of this week.